Australians have strong opinions on a range of topics. One of the ways they find out what those opinions are is listening to Talkback Radio.
Hello, you're listening to Confusing the Issue. And today on Confusing the Issue, we are discussing the issue of the offshore processing of asylum seekers.
Now, I don't know that much about asylum seekers.
Good.
But I have been down to my local deli and I've seen the processed meats, your cured hams, your prosciuttos, your cabanossis.
Not my cabanossi. You would not have seen my cabanossi.
Well, I've seen a cabanossi, and it doesn't matter who it belonged to. It was there, and it was a feast for the eyes.
Carry on.
Now, the thing about these processed meats is they are less healthy for humans.
I see where you're going with this, and I think you're concerned that is a processed asylum seeker somehow less healthy for the Australian public?
Absolutely.
Is there something in the processing process which renders them more likely to give us, say, heart disease or perhaps bowel cancer?
Or diarrhea. I'm not saying deli belly, but an Australian version, let's say
Kirribilli belly.
Kirribilli belly, yes. But you also have to think about this from the asylum seeker's point of view.
Absolutely.
See, I'm not sure whether being sort of processed and ground up into a sort of a uniform paste and then pushed through a tube, whether that would have a negative impact on them as people.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know how things are done in their country. I hesitate to rush to conclusions.
Yes.
But that may be something that over there is frowned upon.
Well, yes, I wouldn't want to apply cultural relativism upon
I
these
am
people.
the last man to apply cultural relativism.
Well, I thought I was the last man.
Maybe it's a tie.
It's a photo finish.
We're neck and neck across the finish line.
Yes, or arse and arse.
Arse and arse across the finish line. Yeah, or if that's indeed if we haven't been disqualified on a technicality halfway around the final lap. But that's not the real issue.
No, of course not.
Because the real issue is where this is taking place. And where this is taking place is offshore. Yes, now this is, to my mind, classic Liberal Party policy.
It's very similar to their national broadband network policy.
Absolutely. This is what I call the asylum seeker to the node solution.
Yes, so rather than sort of tapping the asylum seekers to come straight into your home so you can open it up and they just flow out, what they're doing is they're just taking them to a node somewhere outside of Australia.
And it's typical of them to bring something almost all the way to its final destination, stop it just short, and then implement a very slow, very tedious process to get it the short final distance to its final destination.
And then the asylum seekers, they're locked up on this island.
Stuck at the node.
For years on end, they're in there, they're there with all the internet things as well. There's
at
some
the node.
servers and there's some emails there that have been waiting 3 years to come.
Absolutely, and look, I've got questions about these emails. I mean, why are they in such a hurry to come to Australia in the first place? To my mind, 500 gigabits per second is what I would call suspiciously fast.
I worry about those emails. A lot of them, they come here, they don't have any documents.
Apart from themselves, they're entirely documents. But yes, but that isn't the real issue.
Of course not.
Because the real issue is how do you keep Australians safe?
Well, yes, because let's be realistic here. Only a vocal majority of Australians are worried about these asylum seekers.
Absolutely, verging on a vocal totality. But the question then is how does an average Australian, a true blue, a dinky die,
Rinky-dink?
Rinky-dink, rinky-didge, digi-dink or true die.
Yes.
How do those Aussies, how do they keep their families, their loved ones safe from the asylum seekers?
Well, if you want to keep your family safe, you got to think, where do these asylum seekers want to be?
Australia.
Australia, that's it. And where do they not want to be?
Offshore.
That's where you want to go. You got to get your family together, start them walking them into the ocean.
Just wading out there.
Just wading out until your feet no longer touch the ground and you're floating there.
Yes, you're just sort of floating there and you're finally there. You're finally offshore.
You're finally offshore. You'll be there with some empty dinghies.
Yeah, some empty bottles out there.
Yes, some blue bottles as well.
Blue bottles as well.
Another type of bottle.
Dead seabirds, some general ocean garbage.
Yes, and finally you will be safe from asylum seekers.
Finally safe from asylum seekers. And that is the offshore processing of asylum seekers, and this is Confusing the Issue.